Good morning and welcome to another Memphis Monday 103. Today we're going to be making a gun stock for this gun here it's a double barrel shotgun. See the gun stock is missing back here. This was made by the Ithaca Gun Company from Ithaca, New York, 1920. I know that because every part on this thing is serialized, and I looked up the serial number, and it is known as the 1920s. A 1920, it was built in the year 1920. Flues is the guy who patented this, the front mechanism here and the whole way that this thing goes together. But we're not gunsmiths, we're woodworkers, and we're going to be concentrating on the stock. Here's the old stock, believe it or not. What happened is this old stock broke. If we'll look down in there later on, but it's all cracked, and the old stock just completely broke off. So what they did is they just cut the rest of the stock off and tried to make a little handle so you could shoot this shotgun like a pistol. Of course that didn't work. It's a 12 gauge double barrel. So anyway, our mission is to build a new stock for it. So let's knock off the chit chat and get to work. The reason they call it a flues, this was patented. This whole gun comes apart. You click up on this forestock like that, and that comes off. And then this breaks down. Like that, and then the whole thing comes apart. I was able to find a pretty good picture of what we want our stock to look like, and it's even laid out nicely here. So what I did is I put a 1 centimeter grid around the stock, the picture of the stock here. So here's the original drawing. So I transferred those 1 centimeter equals 1.8 centimeters. So first job is to cut this drawing out, and this will be a template for our stock. Here's our template, and I placed what we have left of the old stock on there just to confirm that everything's good. Now what I want to make sure here is that I line this thing up so that the grain will run, part of the grain anyway, will run all the way through. The thickest part of our gun stock is 1.5 inches right here at the receiver. To give myself a fighting chance to actually do this, I need a starting point, and I've decided that starting point is this little rabbit right along the edge here. Let's go do that. And this right here is the safety. And so what we have to do is we have to drill a hole through the stock for this safety mechanism here to fit through. Let's go look at that. I gouged out this this little dado here, but now I've got to put a hole, this elongated hole, all the way through the stock. carving out now is this V-shaped mortise out of the stock down here. Just chipping away. I'm not making it a race. It's a real small adjustment, so I'm gonna just hit it a little bit with my dovetail saw. You see this little thing right there? It's a little spring keeper. That is butting up against. That's butting up against this part of the frame here. And I can confirm that if I go over here to my example. In the old stock, this is chipped out right here. This is, they've put a notch in it right there. Looks like I'm gonna have to make that mortise deeper. It looks like it's high in the middle. Well, I got the inside for the mechanism carved out. Basically just copied the old handle here. Now I got my carving station set up, and we'll start actually carving out the gun stock. Well, I got our stock roughed out. I'll do a little hand sanding, kind of get out of the sunlight so I can see the any imperfections in it, and then I'll show you what it looks like attached to the gun. Well, there's the stock. I got it mocked up there with the gun. The trigger assembly goes in there just like that. The next mission is to make this forestock right here. Let's see if we come up with a plan. Go ahead and take it apart and see what makes it tick. That's all there is to it. And when you make a custom build, there's no magic involved. You just basically get the part you want to fit, and you just keep chipping away. You keep the part right next to you. You see where you still have to take some out. Put it back in your jig, and then you just chip away. There's a little bit better angle. I can tell you one thing. If you ever decide to do this, take your time, as it may take you an extra half an hour, but that's better than having to start over Now this deep dado I'm cutting right now, this has to accommodate this little locking mechanism here. See it, when you lock the gun down, that thing rests down inside that dado. Okay, I'll keep chipping away, and I'll bring you back when something exciting happens. Oh, I got that piece to fit down in there. I got those curved mortises done along this edge. Now, let me show you the next operation. Now here you can see I got that the mortises for the locking mechanism roughed out. Now I kept my stock thick to make it easier to work on, but now I need to cut it to size. You can see that the example here is down here at the butt end is about 1 inch thick, but this is 1.5 inches, so I need to trim that to size. I'll do that on the table saw. First thing I'm going to do is kind of give me a starting point. I'm going to take this thing and trim this thing down a little bit, take this part right here off. I'm just going to take that off roughly with the spindle sander. You can see it still needs a lot of trimming, but what I wanted to see is make sure that we got this mechanism right. And before I go to all the trouble of carving all this, I want to make sure that mechanically the thing works. So let's see if it fits in the rifle. The thing's got a little hook that hangs down there. I think that's the patented part. And then it fits into this slot here. Looks good to me. This thing seems to function okay mechanically, and it fits tightly. I think I'm going to try to carve this rather delicate, these delicate contours with a sander. The technique I'm using here is I want to make sure that the contour of our forestock here follows this radius of the hardware exactly. You know, if it varies down here a little bit, it wouldn't be noticeable, but here it has to be perfect. So I'm going to leave this hardware on until I get this radius here cut. So now you can see the radius cut on there is perfect. So the rest of it, as I freehand it, will all match up with that, and that'll really be the noticeable part. Series of radiuses that have a smaller and smaller radius to the curve. But it's essentially a curve around here. So I'm going to use, get that with my belt sander by a rocking motion across there like that. Well, I'm eager to see what our gun stock's going to look like, so I'm going to put some stain on it and assemble the gun. This is the stain I've decided on. It's a color called American Walnut, Rust-Oleum brand. This is our picture here, and that's about the nearest match I can come up with. I'm going to let that soak in. I'm going to let that soak in before I wipe it off. I don't think the stain is completely dry, but I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of linseed oil on it. The stock kind of looks old. And since this gun's just about 100 years old, that's probably what we want. Okay, let me set it up here and let you take a look at it. Well, there's our 1920 Ithaca shotgun. Got our new stock on there. I didn't have I was supposed to make it out of walnut, but I couldn't find any, so I got me some hard maple. And alrighty, add a lure. Get our shotgun here. Well, I said we weren't gunsmiths, but I'll tell you what, after making this mechanism, I had to find out how the thing worked, You push this lever here, and this ejects the shells and also cocks it. It's got a little piston that cocking action pushes back, and what it does is it cocks it and puts the safety on. So now if I try to pull the triggers, nothing happens. I have to push it forward once, and then I can pull the triggers. Okay, so that does it for Memphis Monday 103. Next week, I think what we're going to do next week, that's 104. That's the 2-year anniversary of Memphis Monday. So we're going to do a little shop tour. We've made a lot of improvements this year. We'll look at some of our projects this year and do a shop tour, and I think it'll be pretty fun. And I can also control the time of it real good because there's no project involved. So I hope to see you next week. Like and favorite and share and comment and tweet and Facebook and all that stuff you do on the internet. But just like as always, the most important thing is to see you back here next week for another exciting Memphis Monday. Thanks for watching.